Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Curiously enough, my earliest experiences with being a mentor came not within Toastmasters, but at my first job in California, where I worked as a chemist for 8.5 years at the old Spreckle Sugar Factory before it shut down. Part of my job as a bench chemist and later a shift chemist was to help train new people in the bench chemist jobs. And because I had 3 years of chemistry in high school and a couple more in college, I had more than the average bear's education in chemistry and background. And so I was able to bring these people that were basically coming from zero up to knowledge that rather than being just from a recipe book or a step of Simon said do this, Simon said do this, I was able to give them background knowledge on why the procedures they were performing worked and why they had to be done certain ways. Along the way, I became a square dance caller, and that certainly involves a lot of more of teaching new dancers, mentoring other callers, new callers to get up and start doing the same thing. When I finally got involved in Toastmasters, curiously enough, it was from the aspect of mentoring. Having been a Toastmaster for some 19 years, in 2003, when I saw a flyer in the lunchroom at work for a new Toastmasters club that was starting just down the street, I thought, well, as a caller, I have been an MC for many times in lots of different circumstances. Maybe I have something of value to offer to Toastmasters about being an MC. And so I got into this Toastmaster meeting and I was immediately hooked. So along the way, I mentored several people. And one of the most rewarding moments of my mentoring career was at an officer's training one year when a young lady stood up and talked about how her career had just been really set in motion by the guy who mentored her. And she went from being a newbie to the point where at that particular training, she was being trained to be club president. She later on went on to become both an area governor and a division governor. That young lady's name was Diane Bear. I've also mentored two different clubs, new clubs along the way. One was the HSBC club that was in Salinas for a long time. It was over at the HSBC facility. I mentored them, and most recently I mentored the Gilroy club that has been moved over into Division B. The whole idea of mentoring is not to come in as a marauder and force your will upon the entity that you're mentoring, but to more find out what it is that they're hoping to accomplish, what it is they're working on, and give them tips that will help them get through the project successfully, and to kind of guide them, to lead them by giving goals and pointing out techniques along the way. Most recently, I was tasked to be a mentor to replace Fred Sadler as mentor for Sean Edwards. And he was getting ready to do his project 2-1 in the presentation mastery, which is the effective body language, called the trauma assessment. Many of you may remember that speech that was given on 2/18. Sean and I had a Zoom meeting or two and talked about different techniques of body language and finding out how he intended to get through the project and offering some tips and techniques. And any of you who were here on that day last year clearly remembers that it was an excellent speech. It came across, it was ideally suited for the effective body language project. Another mentoring session that I've had most recently has also been mentoring our VP of E, Mariana Jones, through the experience of configuring and managing the EasySpeak website for a new club. I happen to have spent an enormous amount of time working on EasySpeak, and so I had a lot of background knowledge that I could contribute to Mariana and show her where all of the pitfalls are and give her some tips and techniques and assist her in doing a lot of the tasks that come along with managing a website like that, which is actually quite a chore. It takes quite a lot of time spent outside the club, but the rewards of that have been quite evident. The website is now up and functioning. It's been customized quite a bit we customized some of the normal terms like general evaluator and speaker, and gave them new terms that were more appropriate to the improv club that we're using. I really enjoy mentoring new people, because the one thing I love more than anything else is to bring somebody to the point where the light bulb comes on over their head. You can see it. You can see it in their eyes. You can see it in their face. It just comes on. And the success that they're able to engender by virtue of my mentoring is just, there's no other feeling like it, is to see a successful mentoring job. Madam Toastmaster.